of exactly what happened inside the World Trade Center when that first plane went in, and of course the collapses since then. We're going to bring more of those to you now. Barry Jennings, you were on the 8th floor. You work for the City Housing Department. Explain to me the moment of impact.
Well, me and Mr. Hess, the Corporation Counsel, were on the 23rd floor. I told him we got to get out of here. We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hess. I said, "This is it. We're dead. We're not going to make it out of here." I took a fire extinguisher and I bust the window out. That's when this gentleman here heard my cries for help. This gentleman right here, and he kept saying, "Stand by. Somebody's coming to get you." They couldn't get to us for an hour because they couldn't find us.
You thought that was it?
I thought we're dead. I thought that was it. I started praying to Allah. I said, "That's it. We're gone." We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hess. I said, "This is it. We're dead. We're not going to make it out of here." I took a fire extinguisher and I bust the window out. That's when this gentleman here heard my cries for help. Hi, my name is Barry Jennings. I'm 52 years old. I've worked for 33 years at one location. When the Office of Emergency Management did an activation, they always included our locale. And what they did was monitor the emergency. They actually coordinated the emergency through several agencies. I received the call shortly after the first plane hit. I got there, I had to be inside on the 23rd floor when the second plane hit. Upon arriving into the OEM EOC, we noticed that everybody was gone. I saw coffee that was on a desk. Still, the smoke was still coming off the coffee. I saw half-eaten sandwiches, and only me, Mr. Hess, was up there. After I called several individuals, one individual told me that to leave and leave right away. Mr. Hess came running back in and said, "We're the only ones up here. We got to get out of here." He found the stairwell. So we subsequently went to the stairwell and we're going down the stairs. When we reached the 6th floor, the landing that we were standing on gave way. There was an explosion and the landing gave way. And I was left there hanging. I had to climb back up and now I had to walk back up to the 8th floor. When I made it to the 6th floor and there was an explosion, the explosion was beneath me. Keep in mind now, it's pitch black in there. All the lights went out. So when the explosion happened, it blew us back. I'm thinking I'm standing on the landing. I'm actually holding on to a pole above us.
Really?
And I had to climb back up because Hess is yelling, "What do we do now?" I said, "There's only one thing we can do, and it's go back up." Both buildings were still standing. Keep in mind, I told you the fire department came and ran. They came twice. Why? Because building Tower 1 fell, then Tower 2 fell. And then when they came back with all concern now, like, to get me the hell out of there. I was trapped in there for several hours. I was trapped in there when both buildings came down. All this time, I'm hearing all type of explosions. All this time, I'm hearing explosions. When they finally got to us, and they took us down to what they called the lobby, because I asked them, I said, when we got down there, I said, "Where are we?" He said, "This was the lobby." And I said, "You got to be kidding me." It was total ruins. Total ruins. Now keep in mind, when I came in there, the lobby had nice escalators. It was a huge lobby. And for me to see what I saw, it was unbelievable. And the firefighter that took us down kept saying, "Do not look down." And I kept saying why. He said, "Do not look down." And we were stepping over people. And you know, you can feel when you're stepping over people. This big giant police officer came to me and he says, "You have to run." I said, "I can't run. My knees are swollen." He said, "You're going to have to get on your knees and crawl in." He said, "Because we have reports of more explosions." And that's when I started crawling. And I saw this guy fall behind me. And his comrades came to his aid. They dragged him to safety. I'm just confused about one thing, and one thing only. Why World Trade Center 7 went down in the first place. I'm very confused about that. I know what I heard. I heard explosions. The explanation I got was it was the fuel oil tank. I'm an old boiler guy. If it was a fuel oil tank, it would have been one side of the building.
Frank Uciardo back on the phone with us, Brenda, with some New York City officials. Frank, go ahead.
That's right. I'm standing here right now just off Broadway by City Hall with Michael Hess, who is the city's corporation counsel. Mr. Hess, you were trapped in, I believe, 7 World Trade Center. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was. I was up in the Emergency Management Center on the 23rd floor, and when all the power went out in the building, another gentleman and I walked down to the 8th floor where there was an explosion, and we've been trapped on the 8th floor with smoke, thick smoke all around us for about an hour and a half. But the New York Fire Department, as terrific as they are, just came and got us out.
Why did you happen to be at that particular place when the explosions took place?
Well, the Emergency Management Center is where city officials go when there is any emergency such as this one.
How do you feel that the OME, the Emergency Management, is going to be handling the situation? It seems like they're still trying to arrange triage areas and areas of command and setup. Where will they be now?
I don't know where the centers will be, but obviously the mayor and Commissioner Shira of OEM are watching the situation carefully, taking all the right moves, and everything's under control.
Where is the mayor located now?
I don't know myself. As I say, I was trapped in 7 World Trade Center for the last hour and a half.
Thank you very much. That's Michael Hess. He is the City Corporation Counsel who was trapped over by 7 World Trade Center. This is Frank Uciardo reporting live from Lower Broadway, right down the block from City Hall.
All right, Frank, stay with us on the phone here for a quick second, if you would, please. I know you just finished talking with the city officials there. What else have you learned in the past?
Mr. Hess! Watch out. Watch out. Mr. Hess! 5 World. I'll pass the word. I'll try and get word. I'll try and get word.
7 World Trade. I'm falling in. What floor?
That's Mr. Hess, he's Corporation Counsel.
What floor? What?
8th floor.
8th floor, 7 World Trade. 7.
Okay.
I'm falling in 8. We'll get you out of here.
Two flights, and when we got exactly to 6, all of a sudden, at the same instant, 5 different things happened. The first was the lights went out. The emergency lights went out. So we were in total darkness. Second, the stairwell filled up with a tremendous amount of smoke and dirt and soot, much more than it had been before. Previously, you could breathe for about 3 flights down, but at that point you couldn't breathe at all. So the second thing was the soot. The third thing was the sprinklers went on. So all of a sudden we were in the dark, no emergency lights, and the water was pouring down on top of us. At the same instant, and the last 2 things were the scariest, the building began to shake. And it was as if you were in an earthquake. I've never really been in an earthquake, but it's what it felt like. The whole building was shaking. And then the last thing was the stairway ran into a wall. All of a sudden, as you were going down on the 6th floor, you hit a wall. So there I am, and I'm saying, what the heck is happening? And I said to Barry, while it's shaking, we just stood there, and after, I don't know, it was 5 seconds or 10 seconds, but the building stopped shaking. And in my mind, I assumed there had been an explosion in the basement. I don't know why that hit me that way. But we couldn't go anywhere. The wall was blocking it. It was pitch dark. I was nervous, but once the building stopped shaking, then I calmed down. I figured, yes, there was an explosion in the basement, maybe. but it stopped.
And what had you heard at that stage, by this stage? Had you heard any sounds like explosions or big sounds?
Nothing. You heard two things. You heard tremendous wind, and you heard a tremendous number of sirens. And I look out the window, and number one, this ash is flying around, and papers, computer papers are flying around. And again, I was looking north and west, and the World Trade Center towers were south, so I couldn't see in that direction. And in my mind, they were just still on fire. My position, and I'm quite firm on it, there were no explosions. Did I feel the building shake? Absolutely.
Well, what was it like for you? You were inside there as well.
It was pandemonium. I mean, it was something like out of a Bruce Willis Die Hard movie. He was there and he was crying, and there was another gentleman crying, and for help. We couldn't get to him. We tried to get through we went through the buildings. We were lost. Both staircases, the backside was completely blown away. There was no way to access us. We couldn't get to him. And finally, one of the fire department teams found him. But we didn't think they were going to make it.
Well, certainly you got out. Many others didn't. Of course, we don't have a number right now of fatalities or injuries, but I want to translate a story to you that another man told me. He was near the building. He was on the lobby level, near the shopping area, near the promenade. The elevator doors, he said to me, blew open. And when the doors opened, there was a man on fire inside that elevator. That is the kind of tragedy we are talking about here, and where the World Trade Center